The DC Extended Universe. Man, you guys had a rocky start, did you? I mean, first with the disappointment of Batman v Superman and the controversy of Suicide Squad. But is Wonder Woman the savior of this extended universe? We'll find out soon enough. Quick thing guys, sorry I haven't posted in a while. Something's been going on with my mic and I finally forgot what was the problem and continuing trying to fix this. But this has caused me to not post the last two Dragon Ball Super review episodes. And to think, those were actually two important episodes too that I missed out. Ugh. Anyways, I just went out to watch Wonder Woman with my friends and I thought, hey, why not review it quickly? Even though people have already got reviews on it. But who cares? So, Wonder Woman. It's the story of Diana, the princess of the Amazons, the trained warrior of Themyscira. One day she sees a pilot crash landing and it turns out to be a guy. Oh my god. And after hearing about the conflicts of the outside world, she decides to leave her home to fight a war to end all the wars, discovering her true full powers and her true destiny. Now the thing is, for Batman v Superman, not a lot of people liked it because it was trying too hard to be dark and it just came out gloomy and disappointing. They didn't really live up to expectations people expected. Even when I first watched the movies and I came out, I felt so disappointed. It's like if you're a kid and it's on Christmas Day, you ask your parents for your favorite toy, but then they're like, nah, I'll give you a scarf. So yeah. Then there was also Suicide Squad, which did a little better for the comedy, and to be honest with you guys, I personally liked Suicide Squad because it was more interesting and just more entertaining compared to Batman v Superman, but it had a lot of controversy as it had a lot of cliches in the plots, and some of the characters was just underwhelming. So how did Wonder Woman do? Well, I personally enjoyed it, and the characters and execution. Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman was the perfect role. She displays how trained she is. She's a well-developed fighter. But in this story, you see her in a flashback. Because you've already seen Wonder Woman in Batman v Superman. So it's not a spoiler saying that, yeah, this whole movie is pretty much a flashback. But a very interesting one. It's a cool origin story and it really delves into who Diana is and where she came from. It showed the world, well, Themyscira to be specific, and her upbringings. It showed how she was sheltered in this paradise by especially her mother and tried to train and get to the outside world to understand how everything is. And she's a character who was naive and didn't understand everything on the outside world, and that makes perfect sense, and that's one of the reasons why I love this movie. And that aspect alone was a great recipe for a lot of comedy. In fact, here's the thing, half of this movie, the first half mainly, had a lot of comedy in my opinion. And then the second half had mostly action. So don't get me wrong, there's gonna be action in between pretty much the whole movie. But generally, mostly comedy for the first half and action for the second. And while for some of you guys that might sound boring, it's actually really good. A lot of the comedy was friggin' hilarious for the first half of the movie. I went to the movies with my friends and there was a lot of people watching Wonder Woman with us. Pretty much the entire crowd started to laugh because of many of the scenes that were happening, all because of Diana being so naive. What was funny too is that there are actually many sex jokes in the movie, and I know that sounds bad, but they were actually done really damn well and it made a lot of sense why they would be there in the first place. It came actually pretty naturally rather than forced. But the comedy didn't just come from Wonder Woman alone, it also came from Steve Trevor. Chris Pine as Steve Trevor did a great job in my opinion. The reason why is because Steve Trevor from the comics is very important for Wonder Woman. He's the person who got Diana to leave Themyscira in the first place and to become the hero we all know and love. And not only that, he's a memorable character. He was very helpful in the movie and he also had a lot of comedy too. Many of his dialogues are just so on point and hilarious. And it's not even just his dialogues, even his facial expressions are just funny when you see them in their certain situations. Not gonna spoil, but they're just really damn hilarious. And you get many scenes with him and Diana. And he's pretty much like a teacher for Diana, teaching her morals in this new world that she's discovering. Also, I'm happy to say that all the other characters, in my opinion, were actually very interesting and actually helpful. Not all of them got a chance to shine, of course, like Wonder Woman and Chris Pine, but they were at least helpful and not boring. In fact, some of those supporting characters are actually pretty funny and had their funny moments in this. And that's what I'm glad that the DC Extended Universe finally got their humor on point. In Batman v Superman, it was boring for a lot of people. When I watched the movie, I actually went to watch it with my sister, and after we left, while I felt disappointed, my sister was like, man, that was actually pretty boring for some of the parts, which is true, and you can't say that it's not true. There are some action-packed parts in Batman v Superman, but also some boring ones as well. What I really love in this movie is how Diana matures in it. She's at first a naive character, but she starts to mature and really understand what the outside world is about. But at the same time, she tries to keep her ideal characteristics, trying to help people. There was actually a quick scene where she was going through this battlefield with people just asking for her help, or things just going wrong. She just wanted to help them so bad, but Steve was like, no, we can't do this, we must keep going. And it almost felt like torment for her, because she really just wanted to help. She wanted to help everyone. She's an ideal character. In fact, in this movie, Wonder Woman was pretty much like the Superman in my opinion. Okay, here's the thing, Superman's actually one of my favorite DC characters. Yeah, I know, kinda surprising. I mean, a lot of people don't like Superman because of how overpowered he is, which is true. But I've always liked him because he's pretty much the embodiment of a superhero. He's an idealistic character. That's why I love him. And the problem is in Batman v Superman, Zack Snyder wanted to make him realistic, which was interesting, but contradicts his character. For Wonder Woman, she did a really good job showing her ideals and trying to aspire to them while trying to adapt to her situation. And I know I'm going on and on about Diana maturing and everything, but I actually really like this movie. There was actually a lot of really good fight scenes in this. And what was interesting though was the ending. Again, not gonna spoil, but for the ending of the movie, there is kind of a plot twist that some people would see coming, but others would not. But it was a very interesting ending in my opinion. It actually felt like the improved version of Batman v Superman. And yes, I know I bring that up a lot, but it's true. Wonder Woman did a great job when it came to introducing us to the DC universe without really having to bring other DC characters in this. You see a few nods to some other DC characters you may know, a bunch of Easter eggs, but this is a more centralized Wonder Woman movie. You mainly get references to Batman, but that's pretty much it. Overall, I enjoyed this movie because it was a great origin for Diana. It really showed her characteristic, and we really get to enjoy her and understand what she's all about, while having some cool supporting characters as well, along with a pretty cool villain. I wouldn't say he's the best villain, and at the same time, he's not like a Marvel villain, because you know Marvel, while they do great heroes, their villains are not really up to par, though I do like Ultron. But this villain in this movie was like in the middle. It was actually pretty cool. And I'll also talk more about the ending for my spoiler review of this movie. Overall, if you want to have a really great DC movie and finally see a great DC movie, watch this movie because it had a lot of humor, it had some cool action. One thing I will say was annoying was that it had a lot of slow motion in the action, which not all the time is bad, but they do use it a lot, which does get annoying after some time. And there were a few moments in the movie where it felt a little slow, but other than that, I actually really enjoyed it. It was a good origin movie. Either way guys, that's it for my review. Take care, and I'll see you guys next time.